What's going on, man? Uh, you know what? I've been working really hard on getting my podcast back off the ground, and I wanted to do so many positive things to start, but it's really hard, really difficult, impossible even when you've got so many negative things going on right now. And so I went from wanting to start a positive, start the podcast off on a positive note to having to talk about the stabbing that just happened with the Ukrainian girl over in Charlotte. And then before I could even get to that video, I wake up, or after I wake up to find out that Charlie Kirk has been shot in Utah. Now I just find out that he has died. And I don't know if you guys know who Charlie Kirk is, but he's a political activist for the right. And it really doesn't matter at this point. It matters. I'm going to tell you why it matters, but it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter so much about what he stood for than it does the fact that people would kill him because of what he stood for. He wasn't a Hitler. He wasn't I, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little upset. I'm trying not to say what needs to be said, at least right now, but we're going to get to that point right now. But we're going to get to that point in a little bit. Charlie Kirk stood for what he believed in. He was shot and killed because of it. And what I can't understand, and I'm going to call it like it is, them fucktard Democrats and liberals that want to act like they're on the side of justice and on the side of right. But if you're on the side of justice and you're on the side of right, I have a simple question for you. Why can't you defend what you believe in? Why do you have to try to silence people when by either killing them, canceling them, and all these other things, assassinating their character? If what you believe in is right, why can't you just win with that? You can't. You can't win for what you believe in, because what you believe in is straight shit and crap. So when you're winning the battle, when you're cheating and manipulating the public into believing things that just aren't real, when you're winning that battle, all of a sudden it's about love and peace. But the minute that you get exposed for who you really are, you now want to turn around and start silencing people so that the truth doesn't get out there. No, men cannot be women. Women cannot be men. We're starting with that one. I don't believe in pronouns, so I can't support the trans whatever agenda because you're forcing things on me that I do not believe in. But you want to cancel me. You want to silence me. You want to shoot and kill people like Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk. Instead of assassinating a person's character, why don't you come at them with the facts? Why don't you beat them because what you believe in is supposed to be so right and so just? The truth is all that crap you guys believe in is exactly that. It's crap. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. And if you call it for what it is, call it for what it is. The transgender issue, which is one of many issues, I'm just using it to make a point here. The transgender issue, it's a man who mentally thinks he's a woman or vice versa. Mentally, it is a problem, not of a physical nature. It is a problem of the mind, meaning it is a mental issue. It is nothing else but a mental issue. But you guys want to turn it into something called objective reality, so that we can now make it a real thing and force your mentality, your mindset, your political beliefs, whatever they are, you want to force them on other people. I'm telling you right now, killing people like Charlie Kirk the way that they did, it doesn't make people like me shut up. It makes us stand up and speak out more. I used to have so much tolerance for ignorant and idiotic people who know that what they believe in, or at least not what they believe in, because I don't think the majority of the people on the Democratic and liberal side believe half the shit that gets put out there. You know it doesn't make sense. And the little things that you try to create, these inventions of the mind that you try to put out there, you can't support it because it's not consistent. When you do the math, math is supposed to be applied to one thing to the next thing and to the thing after that. And it should work every single time. If it doesn't work out, then you have to go back, do the math all over again, and figure out the formula that actually does work. And that's the problem with the Democratic and Liberal Party. None of their math adds up. None of it is consistent. Look up the word racism. Racism is, and in fact, if I had time, I would. But in a basic sense, in the most basic sense, racism is when you hate a race for any particular reason. But they want to sit there and create this world where they say black people can't be racist. It's impossible for them to be racist. How is it that you can hate white people for what you think they've done, but not be considered racist? You've got the government and the media duping you into believing these deep state propagandists they've duped you. I'm talking specifically to the black community. They have duped you all over again. That's all they've ever done throughout society, throughout the ages. You want to talk about slavery? They got duped into slavery. It wasn't just their fault. You got sold by your own people into slavery. And yes, I'm part black. I don't even know where to go with this conversation. I know what I need to say, but I don't feel like I need to justify myself in order to get this conversation across. But then you go from there, and then all of a sudden they came in, they gave the communities guns and drugs, and you took the bait. You took the bait so that you could try to enrich yourselves, and it became a problem. And then we had leaders that stood up, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, who were both telling us from different perspectives that we need to stick together. It is only through the unity that we can succeed as a people, and they were assassinated as a result. When they tried to bring people together, they were assassinated, and then guess what? You were duped again by groups like Black Lives Matter, telling you that you deserve reparations. You're never going to see a reparation. You're sitting back collecting handouts through EBT and food stamp, same thing, EBT and all of these other government benefits that basically tells you to sit back and do nothing with your life. Let us rule the world while you sit back and kill each other off. We won't report that stuff in the media so that you can continue to do it, continue to kill each other off. You were duped with Planned Parenthood, making you think abortions and all these other things were a good thing, and they're not. These feminists want you to believe that women can do everything by themselves. That's not how we were built as a society. But they got you believing that women don't need men, and now you've got black families that don't have a father figure or aren't able to be there for their kids because the women believe that they don't need the man. Just give me the money and fuck the fact that you're trying to be a father to your own kids. You've been duped, and now you've been duped in believing that you can be the most hateful, violent, discriminating, racist people on the planet and not be considered racist. You've been duped. And that's not meant to be an insult to the black community. That is meant to be a wake-up call so that you guys can understand that it may not be your fault as long as you didn't know, but now you know, and what are you going to do about it? You got to, and that's not a call for violence. I'm saying that you should duplicate the process that other races and cultures are doing. Stick together. Stop depending on other people. Stop whining and crying about the things that you don't have. Stop playing victim about the things that you will never receive. Get off your ass. Go get a job. Go do whatever you need to do to come together as a people and enrich yourselves. That is exactly what all the other cultures are doing, but you want to cry and complain about it. And now we've got this situation. The Democrats and the liberals, you guys want to sit here and act like you're not to blame for why people like Donald Trump, people like Charlie Kirk, for the kids that died praying in a church. You want to act like you're not responsible for what's going on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a mathematical genius. It doesn't take any of those things. All it takes is common sense and your instincts. Let your instincts do its job. You know where the problem is. It's not with guns. It's with the people who are using guns. And right now, the only people using guns against other people is the fucking Democrats and the liberals. Now, That doesn't mean, excuse me, I apologize. That doesn't mean I will never be that person that will tell you that every last Democrat and every last liberal or every last black person, they need to pay for the crimes of a few. What I'm telling you that is that there is a real problem, and it's not with each other. It's with the people who are creating these problems for us, that are duping us into believing that we need to be a hero. We need to be a savior. It's okay to be mentally challenged. It's okay to support people who are mentally challenged. Who cares if you're white, if you're black? I've been saying that from the very beginning. Who gives a shit if you're gay? Nobody cares. The only time it becomes a problem is when something that you do with yourself, a belief you have in yourself, requires something of me. It violates my own personal freedoms and my own comfort zones, whatever those things are. You be who you are, whatever. Let your freak flag fly. As long as it isn't impeding on my personal liberties, you are free to do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what I believe, and that is the wonderful thing about living in this country. If we are truly free, you can avoid the people who don't believe in what you believe in and support and find those groups that support who you are, period. Why do you have to force yourself on everybody else? This to find Charlie Kirk, honestly, I don't know if I believed and supported every last thing that he talked about, but he had his own opinions, he shared ideas, and he got up every single day to motivate people to fight for the country that he loved and believed in. And then you've got and you guys, you can ignore the facts as they are. You could try to continue to support your political side, your woke agendas, whatever. You can continue to support all those things all you want to. But I now I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done pretending that I can tolerate the nonsense that people believe in. You know, when I used to have a conversation with people on the streets and all, for whatever reason, woke people don't want to hear. They all of a sudden want to cancel and hate and discontinue relationships with people who don't immediately and 100% side with them. And I used to just for the because my affections and my love that I have for the people I care about goes deeper than my political beliefs or just anything else, my faith in God and all these other things, because I want to maintain those relationships. People, though, they would spew their nonsense and I would just keep quiet about it because I didn't want to disconnect. I didn't want to lose those relationships, and it happened anyway. It happened with the people that I love and care about because because I opened my eyes. I did my own research. I could no longer support something that I just know 100% that I did not believe in. I'm not a follower. And because of that, I lost these relationships. But I'm done. I'm done tolerating the bullshit. If you, like I said, this is a wake-up call, not just for me, but for a lot of people. If you don't believe what you're hearing, don't sit there and tolerate it. Don't support it. Don't do any of those things. Now, this is not, again, I'm going to say it throughout this podcast. This is not a call for violence. I am not calling for anyone to get violent. There are more than one way. There's more than one way to get a predictable outcome. The first and foremost, the first thing that you can do is stop supporting anything and everything that supports the woke and democratic agendas. Stop. I mean, I know it sounds stupid. Stop supporting Disney. Anybody that has pride and all that, stop it. Don't give them any more of your money. Let money speaks volumes. The WNBA is garbage. Nobody gives them money, but they want to act like they deserve the same amount of money as NBA players. Just for example. Nobody watches the WNBA. They're losing $40 million a year of money that doesn't even belong to them. It belongs to the NBA. They subsidize that crap. It is what I'm done. I'm seriously done. To see you guys claim to be this party of love and peace just to turn around and start killing off people because they don't side with you or because their arguments actually are based out of logic and truth, and they're winning the battle over time, which we all knew would happen. Your arguments and your beliefs and your faith and whatever it is that you're trying to throw out at people, it was only a trend. It was a fad. It couldn't stand the test of time because all of that shit was fake. And now that it's been exposed, now that you can no longer win these battles and these arguments, all of a sudden you think it's okay for you to get violent. All I'm asking for is that the law does its job. Law enforcement does its job. Stop letting people back on the streets. I think the punishment should fit the crime. If you kill someone and you did it out of malice, you should get the death penalty. And I'm tired, and I don't want to hear nobody tell me, well, that's not our job to decide. That's God. Don't tell me you believe in God now. The same people who are trying to use God as an excuse for why we shouldn't do a certain thing are also going to tell you when it doesn't suit them that God doesn't exist. So I'm done listening to people try to tell me what my faith is supposed to dictate how or what decisions I make. If you kill someone, may God have mercy on your soul, but if it was out of malice and it was intentional, you need to go to the electric chair, unless it was in self-defense, of course. The punishment needs to fit the crime. If people are mentally ill, they need to go to a mental institution. And right now, if it were up to me, and thank God it's not, everybody that claims to be a liberal would have to go through some kind of mental evaluation to justify why they deserve to be back on the streets. If you have the mentality to believe that Trump is Hitler, Trump needs to be killed because you listen to the government and the media tell you so, half of you don't even know why you hate Trump. You wanted to call him a racist because that's what the media told you to do. And then the facts came out and showed you that he wasn't a racist, but you wanted to continue to call him a racist. You have no reason in the world to believe Trump is a racist, but it's just easier for you to do because he is a man who is fighting for an America First agenda and not for your own woke agendas, your own Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ. He doesn't believe in that stuff, so he has to be the enemy. He's not the enemy to you, he's the enemy to your personal beliefs, and so you want to remove him. Never mind that the majority of the people in this country actually voted for him, not because of who he is, because we don't know him either. We voted, just for the record, the majority of the people who voted for Trump, we didn't vote for him because we love him as a person. We don't know him as a person. We voted for Trump because he isn't you. You created this bullshit. You're the reason why we're voting in different directions. I have a heart when it comes to the immigrants that have come to this, the illegal immigrants who have come to this country, who were allowed to come to this country by people like Joe Biden, created a life for themselves, were hardworking citizens and everything else. And I do believe that's something that they should at least be considered for some kind of amnesty, some kind of process that would allow them to become legal citizens, because what happened to them is not entirely their fault. I do believe they were invited here by a very corrupt deep state government. However, you liberals and Democrats forced us into a position where it was one evil versus something else. I'm not going to call what Trump and them are doing was evil, but it wasn't Trump, it was you. Your woke bullshit, your pronouns, you're telling me that men can go into the same bathroom as my daughter. It was you. That's what we voted against. We didn't vote for Trump as much as we did vote against you. That's what we did. I'm tired of acting like I'm something that I'm not, just because I value our friendship more than you do. And again, I'm talking to all you liberals and you Democrats. I don't care if my show gets canceled on Facebook. I don't give a shit. I don't. I'm going to speak my mind because all of this is nonsense. If you don't want to be my friend no more because I'm speaking fact, because I actually want the black community to do something for themselves instead of crying victim all the time, then go ahead and feel free to unfriend me, unfollow me. I don't give a shit because this will resonate with certain people and we'll see that, you know what? He doesn't speak eloquently. He's no political expert, but he's speaking the truth. He's speaking his mind. And we need more regular people who are willing to stand up, speak out, and say, this is not right. Stop protecting the bullshit. Honestly, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, man. He didn't deserve that. The Ukrainian girl who was stabbed by that black individual, that mentally ill all of a sudden individual who was let out on the street after 14 different arrests for criminal behavior on a written promise that he'll come back to court. Rest in peace to her. I can't say, I don't remember what year now. I believe it was something to that effect. This is a very crazy world that we live in. And the reason why I am challenging and against these fake agendas, these woke agendas, this political nonsense, the reason why I am speaking out against them is because my kids deserve a better future. My kids don't need to be groomed into believing there's something that they're not. They should be allowed to grow up naturally, believe who they are, and become whoever they're supposed to be naturally, not because we groom them to be that way. And no, I'm not just talking about LGBTQ and transgender affirming. I'm talking about both sides. I believe in God, but I believe God is something that needs to be taught in the home, not in the schools. When kids go to school, it should be about making friends and learning, or learning and making friends in the opposite order. A STEM-based education where all they're getting is an education to prepare them for life, not something that's grooming them into becoming something that other adults and agendas want them to be. And stop acting again. We're done with you acting like it's not real. Van Jones, I hope I'm not gonna I'm one of the things that I stand on very firmly with my platform is that I am not going to subscribe to the same narrative that the left and the Democrats do, and even some of the Republicans do. I am not going to win my arguments by assassinating someone's character. If I think you're an idiot, I just think you're an idiot. But when we talk about certain issues, I I believe in what I stand for. If I don't have the answer for something we're talking about, I'm man enough to tell you that I don't know. I'm going to go do the research if it's that even that important to me, and then we can come back and have this conversation all over again. I believe in who I am. I believe that I'm intelligent enough to get my own answers. And I believe in my instincts. And when my instincts are telling me that something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what it is. Or at the very least, there's something that I'm missing that I need to figure out in order for me to come to a better understanding for why I either didn't support a certain thing or why I need to support something that I didn't previously support. But that's what real people do. Real people want real answers. Real people don't want to invent something and then force other people to believe it with them. To use money as an incentive to perpetuate these lies and then cancel people when they don't subscribe to the same narrative. It's ridiculous. I, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say it like this. For the people who are liberals and Democrats and you don't know any better, you need to figure it out. I do believe there's some shit coming down the pipeline that is not going to make any of you too happy. And it's not because Trump and them is planning to do something wrong. It's because they're about to enforce the law. They're about to do what the Constitution says they can do so that we can get rid of the nonsense. And I'm going to close with this, man, because I'm probably a little too heated to have this conversation right now. We will have more conversations in the future. But I had a friend, I was in trucking school, and I had a friend that was everything was the white man's fault. He's a really cool dude, but everything that happened to him was the white man's fault. They're out to get him. And we had a conversation about what was going on in DC. And he's like, well, you know what's next? You know, they're going to sit up there and clean up the streets. And then they're going to use that as an excuse to do it to more and more cities. And now you're going to have martial law and you're going to have the government taking over. As far as the government taking over, whether you want to believe it or not, they've already done that. They've already used their money to create the power and everything else to manipulate idiots like us. And I'm throwing myself in the boat because I've been there for a very long time. They've already used the tools at their disposal to trick us into believing in them. And they'll lie to us every single day and then tell you that this one thing is truth. And we're so dumb that we're going to believe it all over again simply because they act like they support your woke ideologies and agendas. They don't. They're duping you. um, so anyways, back to my friend. I had to sit here and remember what I was going to say. So he believes that the government wants to use what's happening in DC and now I believe what's about to happen in Chicago, that he wants he believes that they're going to use that as a reason to what? Enforce more laws, to clean up the streets more, to invoke martial law so that so a lot of the people out there who are afraid for their safety can now live in peace. I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Compared to what we have, the things that we're ignoring, I'm okay with a little bit more police. I'm okay with a little bit more safety. I'm okay with having a curfew if that's what it's going to take for us to work together and clean up these streets. We need something drastic to happen in order for people to get off of this bullshit ass rocking chair with these made up belief systems and everything else in order for us to get back to some sense of normalcy. And at the very least, if we're going to normalize anything, we need to normalize the fact that we all deserve to have our own belief systems. We all deserve to have our own circles. If I don't agree with what you have to say, then get the fuck out my circle. Period. Just get out the circle because that's what I'm doing to you. If I don't subscribe to what you believe in, I'm not hating on you for it. I'm just going to step out of your circle. I'm going to remove myself because I have enough respect for you and value who you are as a person to not let your faith or your belief systems or your agendas get in way of our friendship, if that's even what we have. You guys are about to see a very different side of not just me, but of a lot of people. Because I truly believe what just happened to Charlie Kirk, and you guys need to go check that out if you haven't already. What happened to Charlie Kirk? What happened to that girl on that train station in Charlotte? The black fatigue is real. But so is the LGBTQ fatigue. And LGBTQ, keeping it real. I don't know why you guys are still trying to protect the trans issues, not just transgender, transracial, all of that stuff. The trans issues and even what's the other one? They tried to get away with protecting the pedophiles. That didn't work, so they let that go. But there's something else that tried to include themselves within the LGBTQ community. I'm going to tell you why I don't have a problem with people who just consider themselves gay. I don't have a problem with them at all. In fact, a lot of them are my friends. And the reason why I don't have a problem with them is because them being gay requires nothing of me. They're not forcing me to go against my own belief system and to say things that I don't believe in. They're just who they are for themselves. I don't support the agenda, but I have no problems being someone's friend just because, regardless, of whether they're gay or straight. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. It's when you decide to create something that's forcing me to believe a certain way, and if I don't believe in it, we have an issue. Period. Anyways, man, my blood is boiling. I hope this at least got across and resonate. I wanted to do a more scripted version of a podcast for what happened with that girl on the train, and maybe I still can. But sometimes I do believe that speaking from the heart, whether you get it all out, whether you're just ranting, I think we need more of this. You guys can feel free to comment and put your respond in the comment section, like and follow the stream, and do all of those good things because I encourage more conversations. Again, when we talk in these in my forums, if we can agree not to disagree, but when you start trying to assassinate my character, then it's time. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to not necessarily ban you, but you won't be welcome here on my show anymore. You could be whoever you are, but we have to debate the issues. That's how we come together as a people. Debate the issue. Stop trying to assassinate a person's character, especially when you don't even really know that person. I'm gonna find some garbage on you on the internet and all of a sudden claim that you're just the most evil and vile person. There's so much information out there in the world for you to gather. How is it you want to call Trump a bad person? How is it that you guys are out there starving for information to implicate this man, to turn this man into some kind of sexual predator, a felon, and everything else, but you just can't come up with anything? Do the homework on the felony charges, and you'll find out that what they made Trump guilty of was something that people in business do all the time. I said, and I do believe that's going to get overturned on appeal, but that's not the point here. The point is you guys did everything you could to make Trump a villain, not because he's a bad man, but because he doesn't support your belief system. And if you want facts to support that, let's look at Joe Biden for a second. The man, his own daughter in her diaries said that he was taking inappropriate showers with her, but nobody cared about that. This man voted against the desegregation of the bus systems in public schools because he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. Joe Biden told you that you weren't black if you didn't vote for him. But we just dismissed all of that because he claimed to support your woke agendas and ideologies. Miss me with all of it. We know what's real and what's not real. And I'm gonna do this. I really believe that we need to stop supporting the mainstream media. I'm talking about CNN, CMB, whatever they are, ABC, CBS, all of them. The View. We need to, when you know they're lying about a lot of these things, stop supporting them. Stop watching them. Bankrupt them, because that's exactly what they deserve. They're supposed to be a news channel. They're supposed to be reporting on the news, but they're not. They're reporting on their own little narratives. And you don't have to take my word for any of that. All you got to do is go look it up. They're not reporting on the news as fact. They're reporting on the news according to their narratives, according to whatever money they're receiving from these political propagandists. That's not news. It's manipulation. Anyways, man, I think we're going to do more of this. And I think the reason why, even in my regular videos, I'm not going to try to speak to you guys through a script because it's unnatural. I believe I'm intelligent enough, not to say I'm the smartest guy, but I'm intelligent enough to be able to speak on what I believe. And I may stutter, I may trip on my words, or whatever the case may be, but I believe in what I say. I stand on those beliefs. And again, I think we need more of that, not less. Again, if you guys enjoy this, whether you're a first timer or you've been here before and you haven't done so already, please feel free to comment in the comment section. We need more people who want to speak out. Follow the show. Share this with other people who need to hear it. Let's get the conversation started, because at the end of the day, we don't need the government telling us who we are. We need to be able to have conversations that bring us together and let us discover each other, discover ourselves, reinvent ourselves, because that's what's needed amongst ourselves. We need to be working together as a team. Black, white, red, pink, I don't care what you are. If you want something better for you and your family, we need to have more discussions like this. I'm Mike Rock. I'm out of here. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.